Episode 2 on how I made a flare dress with a stylish built up neckline as well as an inseam pocket. I'll show you how to draft and cut the flare part of this dress. The first episode of this tutorial will be linked in the description box. Do keep on watching. Let's get right into this video. This is scuba and I'll be using this particular color for the full flare, and then I'll use the white for the top part. For a flare, my current waist measurement is 29.5 inches. Since we are working with a full flare, we'll divide the waist measurement, which is the circumference, by 6.28. I have roughly 4.69. I'm just going to approximate whatever I have here to 5 inches. Okay, so I'll add extra half inch, so this 5 inches plus 0.5 allowance, just allowance, because I intend adding pocket to the side, and so I need side seam. In case you don't intend adding pocket or you do not want to have seam at the side of your flare, then whatever you have, just add allowance for zip and then you are good to go. Okay, right here I have my fabric. Okay, I folded it into 4. There are 2 ways you can work with the length of the skirt. Okay, measure right from the shoulder to the length of your dress, your desired dress. This is actually a dress, so if you have your length of dress, you subtract your shoulder to waist measurement from the length of your dress, then the amount of inches you have left, that will be the length of your skirt, or you just measure from your waist down to the length of your desired skirt. Okay, I want the length of my skirt to be 23 inches, so this is 23 inches. I'll add extra half inch, that if I would like to hem the lower part, I might either hem it or just overlock it, so I'll keep it at 23.5 inches. I'm going to add this 5.5 inches to my 23.5 inches, so that is 1 2 3 4 5.5, that's 29 inches. So before we go through any calculation, we need to make sure that a total of 29 inches is here from the folded edge, and then at the other side of your folded fabric, this is how it was full. Folded it into 2 and then into 4, folded it into 2 and then into 4. Okay, I have to make sure that the same 29 inches is here. Now, looking at what I have, less than 29 inches, so it means that I just have to shorten my length. So what I would just do is to exclude that half inch hemming allowance from the 23.5, if that makes sense. Okay, so it means that I might end up having roughly 22.5 inches instead of 23 inches as the length of my skirt. Okay, so it means that if we are going to work with 29 inches, I must make sure that the fabric is enough. 29 inches is here and then 29 inches is here. So with whatever is going on, instead of using 5.5, I'll use 5.25. Just want to simplify it a bit, so I have a moderate skirt. Okay, so 5.25, but the length, the full calculation, I'm still going to use 28 inches. Okay, this folded part of the skirt, one is going to serve as the center front, the other is going to serve as the center back. But with the calculation we made, we did not add zip extension, so this is what I'm going to do. Whilst this side center front and center back, this side is going to be the side of the skirt. Cut through. You see, at this point they are the same, right? And then mind you, while we were measuring this length of the skirt, it was 29, right? And now we are using 28. I'm going to shift down 1. I've separated them 1 2, so 1 will be the back, 1 will be the front, and this one that is going to be the front, I'm going to shift it away a little bit. Okay, but the side will still be the same. Just going to shift it, but just shifting it down, but also maintaining the side. Okay, So this is going to be the zip extension. It's not part of our measurement, right? So I'm just going to measure from here again to make sure that I have 28 inches. I still have it. Here is also 28, so we are safe. All right, so from the center front I'm going to mark my 5¼ instead of 5½. Okay, so 5¼ okay, and then I'll keep my tape on that 5¼ and then mark 28 inches. So that's all I'll be doing. Mark 5¼ 28, 5¼ 28. After marking the radius, okay, we'll go up from that mark by ½ inch. And this will also go to the back, okay. So we are going to cut on this ½ inch mark, which means that we have added our joining allowance. This allowance will be used to join the skirt to the bodice. So we are ready to cut. For the center back, so yeah, we are through with cutting our skirt. Here is the center back, here is the center front unfold, and here is the side of the skirt. So right here is my center back pattern. I'm trying to align it in such a way that it will be enough. What we have here is a cut and join situation. Now the scuba is no more enough, okay, but I have white to cut out the pocket piece. I can't use white right at the edge of the pocket. I have cut parts of the scuba in the form of a facing for the lining that I'm going to use for the pocket. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm going to do is to draw in the starting point from here. The width of my pocket is going to be 6 inches. I'll add 1 inch for allowance, so 7 inches. From here, I'm going to come down by 7 inches. And I'll go in by 1 inch or ½ inch from here. So here is going to be the lower part of the pocket, and here is going to be the top part of the pocket. So from here, I'll maintain the same 7. Okay, you can even do less, but the depth can be, say, 11. So I'm going to take from this 1 inch, I'm just going to curve like this. Here will also be curved. Let's use pattern so it will be clearer. Then we just put it on it and cut out. Now I can place it on it and cut out. So this is the side of my skirt, right from the waist this is half inch to join to the bodice. So while measuring, I need to exclude that point 2 inches below the waist. My pocket will start from here, and then the width will be 6 inches. I'm going to notch. So my pocket will go in by half inch. So I'll be having something like this. The actual width is 6. The 1 inch extra is to sew the outer part of the pocket together. So these are all the patterns. We'll first work on the bodice. So I'll keep the bodice patterns here and take away the skirt together with the pocket. To the front bodice, I'll transfer the point of my dart this way so I could mark it on the wrong side. This way I can freely take away the front pattern, grab it by the dart line. With my 1 cm allowance, when I get to the machine, I'll just go ahead and stitch till I get to that point. To the back piece as well, we have back 1 and back 2, right? So I'm going to grab them together as well and locate the notch by the chest line, pin them together and stitch with that 1/4 inch allowance I have. As usual, we'll have to repeat the same process to the other. Just as I explained with my 1 cm, I'll begin from the waist, work towards the top part till I get to the point. I won't back stitch, okay? So the leftover thread I have, I'll just tie 2 to 3 times and cut off the excess. So I've gone ahead to stitch my back pieces and went ahead to also press them. This is also my front. I press the darts open. By having my front this way, I'll go ahead to place the back pieces on it and grab them by the shoulder, pin them together. When I get to the machine, I'll follow the zigzag shape this way, okay, and then move on to make a straight stitch up here. So let's do that. So I'll begin to stitch wherever I see the point where I'll have to move, okay, in this direction. I'll lift my foot, turn to that direction, stitch up, okay, leave my needle down, lift the foot and stitch. After stitching, this is how mine looks like, okay. So I'll go over to the ironing board, press the seam open. At the hem of the sleeve, we left an allowance of 2.5 inches, right? So which is what I've marked. I'll fold it to the wrong side, okay, and then press it down. Also press the other side this way, and I'll do same to the other. Now the next thing to do after pressing is to fold in that 1/2 inch allowance. In case you are lost, we are working on the turn up, okay? So this is my crease line. All right, so talking about the 1/2 inch, I'll grab my pattern. This is the hem of the sleeve, and these 2.5 inches has been splitted into 3. The first one is 1/2 inch and the other 1 inch each, okay? So the 1/2 inch is to hem. In other words, you can decide not to turn that 1/2 inch in, as in for hemming. Right at the edge of the sleeve, you can use 2.25 inch. So by the time you serge on knitting the edge of that sleeve, you have it that way without turning it, just like I'm doing, okay, if that makes sense. I just want to hem with a 1/2 inch, and this is how it looks like. I went ahead to tack. Now while stitching, I'm not going to stitch right at the edge of this fold. Instead, I'll go in a little bit, like 1/8 of an inch, okay, like let's say 1/4 inch, right at the side of this place. I mean the side seam. I left the both sides open a bit, so I'll be able to sew the side seam before finishing the turn up, so I'll have a round effect, okay. So I'll go ahead to stitch. After stitching, this is what I have. I still have both sides unstitched, I mean about 2 inches away from the side seam. I'll fold up about 1 inch. First we fold towards the wrong side, right? So the second stage is to fold towards the right side, I mean upwards. And this is my side seam. I would have to stitch the side seam before I finish the armhole of the turn up. And one other thing is that I really do not want my stitch to show right at where the turn up is. That is why I stitch about 1/4 inch instead of stitching right at the edge of the first stitch, if that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, this is my side, and I'm yet to knitting or serge the side. After serging the side, I'll go ahead to finish the side seam of the turn up. Now this is also my skirt. This is the front. Okay, I've gone ahead to join the pocket pieces together. I'll pin by the sides. I'll just place the back onto the front piece, and when I get to the machine, I'll stitch this way. Same process to the other side. So this is how it looks like after joining. I went ahead to press the side seams open. This is also the front, I mean the bodice. I'll just grab it by the center. I could see the notch, so I believe you can also see it. I'll pin them together and stitch with 1/2 inch. We need facing to knitting the neckline of the built up neckline. So what did I just say? So I'm going to mark about 3 inches from the edge of the neckline. This is the back. Okay, I'm just going to mark 3 inches like this and connect the 3 inches points together. So I'll just go ahead and cut out. I do not want to use this pattern anymore. That is why I'm doing all of this. Okay, so I'm going to place the same thing here and mark where the back stops to determine the front. Okay, and I'm just going to use my free hand to go around the shape this way. So if you know you'll be using your pattern, you'll be reusing your pattern, then you would have to trace out your facing out of the pattern. Okay, so I've gone ahead to cut them out, and I fused interfacing to both front and back, join them by the shoulder. Funny enough, after joining the center back of this dress, I fit it and it was okay without zip. So I was like, yo, I'm not going to add zip to this dress. So I just left it that way. So since there is no zip and I've closed the center back, I would have to also close the center back of the facing. There are two ways you can fix your zip. You can fix your zip right from the beginning of your neckline, your back neckline, or about 2 inches away from your back neckline. Okay, either ways, but make sure you fix your zip before you attach your facing. Okay, fix your zip first. So I'm going to pin them together, I mean the neckline together with the facing, stitch with 1/2 inch. So after stitching, I'm going to trim off the excess. The kind of fabric I'm using is really thick. I really do not need much excess. Okay, so I'm going to make first trim off with just 1/4 inch. Okay, and then notch the corner so I could have the neckline this way. It lies nicely. Okay, all right, so after notching, I'll grab one side of my seam, okay, and just trim that one. I mean, I'm just going to trim this way, just one side of my seam, and this method is called grading. I'm doing this because again the fabric is thick and I do not want to have or even feel much thickness. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and understitch this way on the facing. All right, I'll understitch round. After understitching, this is how it looks like. Beautiful, right? I also went ahead to add hemming gum, hemming sleeve, however you call it, let us know. So this way, when I press the neckline, it will be stable and neat as well. Okay, yeah, I'll also go ahead to serge the neckline and then tack the shoulder of the facing to the shoulder of the main outfit. Also tack the center back, yeah, around the turn up as well. I went ahead to make little tack, invisible tack, okay, so it doesn't flip, but by pressing as well it shouldn't really flip. Okay, I went ahead to overlock the hem of the dress, and this is how it looks like. I'll go ahead to just make a final pressing. Thank you for watching to the end. I hope you learned something. I would love to know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification bell so whenever I post a new video, you'll be notified. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.